Hello and welcome to another episode of the Flubcast. This week we're going to be discussing the under-23 select team that played against the Texas Rattlesnakes. The Rattlesnakes were down in Trinidad doing a tour, and again, just thank you to Jono and Maurice for putting it, Maurice Valer for organising it. That is a big thing in Trinidad rugby right now. Gone are the days where we need to send 22 players and 3 managers on tour for a small fortune. Now we are getting to be a hub of touring teams. They love the fact that we have a very great exchange rate, so much to do, and our fraternity benefits so much. Whenever we have a game, we are in charge of the door. We have the bears on sale, we have food, and we're getting our fraternity. And the best thing, of course, is that we have a huge amount of players that are getting exposure. And now that we're taping games, well, we're taking it up even more, because now when we're posting it, and we will be posting this game as well, that means when later down the line we have a team that is going to be trying to scout against the Rattlesnakes, they're going to type in Rattlesnake Rugby, and up is going to come a game against Trinidad, and they're going to be seeing our players. And coaches from away are going to be saying, well, who is this guy? Who's this scoring all these tries? Who's this breaking the line against a top-ranked division side? How is that possible? How could I get in contact with that player? What opportunity could I give? How could I get him to come to my school? And that's when you open up scholarships and the door swings right open. So that is the long-term goal. Again, nothing is possible if you're not taping your games and posting them for everybody to see. And that's why I've been begging Blossom Stewart. She does it for as cheap as $300. So just get your side together. Say, guys, everybody just throw in a $6 today now. Tape it. If you don't, you miss and it's gone. So let's discuss this event very quickly. Again, we're going to be posting all of the footage. So don't worry. You could, everything I say, you could review and come back and please give me your comments. And if you were there and have a different opinion, just feel free to take a video just like me and I will post your comments. So the first thing before I discuss the game and the players is what I'm really going to be focusing on. I would just like to give a huge prop to the referee fraternity. They have taken, it used to be an old day where a ref would show up, you call 2 guys from the sideline to come. He wouldn't be able to really have or trust the 2 officials on the side because they don't really know the rules. They're just players as well. Now they have become so professional. They're all working as a team of 3 and 5. So Pointy, congratulations. Kalisha Vincent, who was the referee in the day, amazing game. Hector, excellent job. You've just been doing great. And I could go on and on. Carmichael, the whole team, that is a unit and that is a force. And the more professional you all are, the better the games are, the better it is for the viewing experience, the better for every part. Even when touring teams come down, they like the fact to say, well, look, these people we could trust, they're making the right calls on the field, and our athletes are going to know what is happening. So excellent work. The referees, you all are actually leading the way when it comes to professionalism, and I hope we all could follow. So to discuss the game, again, they brought down... technically everybody should be saying, well, all the players, like, what's going on? Every time we come, they're just bigger and bigger. So another monster pack, some big fast runners outside, and we are putting out just our under 23 selects. So in there, we actually played phenomenally well. We absorbed a huge amount of pressure. We played the patterns our coaches have been asking about, and I have so much praise for the side. But one thing is sticking out with our Trinidad rugby right now, which is just becoming more and more of a concern. And if we don't address it, it's going to become this mental crutch, because it has gone from one of our greatest strengths, and it is one of your greatest strengths on the rugby field, and now it almost feels like we avoid it like the plague, and that is our lineouts. So we are getting penalties in good positions where we could just punt it downfield, get an easy lineout secured and take it. But if you're watching, and I'm sitting with other relatively experienced forwards, and we are watching and we have concerns, and this is not to throw any hate on the players or coaches, we just have been taught differently how to do it, and we just think it's a great thing if we could all be brought in. We have almost a symposium, we sit down, we hash out ideas, we figure out why it's being done a certain way, we say our way, and we try to almost convince each other and show each other and learn from each other to say what best could we do to put things back in order, because we are seeing errors with even like the line out setup, the lifting technique being used, the jumper when he's jumping, his legs are flailing all over, making it almost impossible to lift. How it's being done, how he's being brought down, how the first ripper who's coming in to do it. There's just a lot of things that we just would like to take a look at together as a big unit, because once you get security, once you don't think, oh, it's a 50-50 ball, you're almost risking possession. Once you realize it is easy yards up, And now when you set that up, it is your greatest weapon. And backs as well. I mean, the backs must be losing their mind to say, look, why is this such a 50-50? Why are we not using this as an attacking option? Because once you start to get that go forward where you're sucking in defenders, everything becomes so easy. This game is all about just momentum and moving forward. And when you are trying to defend going backwards, it is so much more difficult. So that is just one thing, and hopefully we're all gonna move. And it is a lot of ego checks. We all have to suck it in, but let's just challenge each other's ideas and move forward. It's only for the better of Trinidad rugby. So I could call honestly, about 9 players that had phenomenal games. So guys, I would say I can't call everybody, but very, very, very impressive. Some big work rates. I'm just going to say some of the people I'm not going to really be able to discuss a lot of. But the flanker there for Northern's Jonathan, your work rate is excellent. You know, you're not the biggest guy, but you're putting yourself there to make all these ankle tackles. And you're a great option with your hands as well, where you're making yourself a distributor. Your rucking is getting it there. And actually, just to pull it back, one last thing, you notice that with these big boys, even from Rattlesnakes, for some bizarre reason, when they are hitting rucks, they're really almost just hitting and staying right over the ball, making it really difficult for their scrum half to come and access it, slowing down their own ball instead of just going through. Everybody who watched Shakir De Freitas in the national game, that was the biggest comment. When he's rucking, he makes the team pay. You are slamming over, you are getting that man out, and he does not want to contest the ruck again. But those boys, for some reason, were just hitting it and staying and delaying and making their own ball very static for some reason. And again, everything I'm talking about, feel free to look at the video yourself, review and come back to me. But our boys were already hitting those rucks good. And I would just say this, if you are forward, and the first thing, it is almost impossible to ignore players who want the ball in their hands when they have go forward ball. When that ball is going forward, and we got so much of that from Giddis, when that is going forward and the defense is going backwards to just get onside, you should be screaming hungry as a tight 5 player, especially to want that quick pop of the scrum half or ball back inside from the fly. If you want that go forward, because the defender is coming back, and you just want to keep that momentum going. And you are just noticing there's certain players who want the ball, and there's some players that just don't want it. And I remember even just watching the other game I posted before with the senior men playing against our under-19s, and there's this one prop who is about 300 pounds, and you just think, ooh, can't wait to watch this boy play. He is going to cause some havoc out there. And for the entire game, he just did not ever want the ball, didn't really want to put his shoulder into tackle, wanted to tackle with arms, and it stands out like a sore thumb. And the second thing I just want to mention before we move on is there's a little secret that you realize with rugby, that 70% of the people that play on defense, they really just don't want to be tested. They are just praying that they could come up in their line, and they're praying, oh God, I hope this man just changes his angle or goes. They are just trying to encourage you to go on and put all the work on somebody else, so they could say at the end of the game, it wasn't me, I didn't make the mistake, I didn't miss that tackle. And that is something you have to exploit. That is something when you start to attack and you put people in no man's land, you run in between 2 defenders, you're making those things, you are allowing people who are weak mentally to choose the least option, to say, oh, well, I tried to tackle him, but I couldn't get through. Put people in difficult positions, get your hand on the ball and go forward. And again, there's so many other players who were just stellar. I thought some of the wingers were really good, but I am going to focus on 4 guys that just stood out. And there's no way that when you all look at the footage, that it just doesn't jump off at you. And these are people that wanted the ball, wanted some decision making. One person actually I'm not going to really emphasize about, but I thought Simon as fly half, another player that's just coming through the ranks. He's going to be putting pressure on other guys going forward, and that's what had us also excited in the crowd as well. There's so many people who are coming through, and this season is going to be just absolutely so exciting, where they have so many players that are going to be contesting for spots. And once we start to get more and more guys wanting those national team spots, I mean, it's going to be so competitive, and it could only benefit Trinidad rugby and push all the players who are great players to phenomenal players, because to keep up, you're going to just have to work harder and harder and harder to make that squad. But here are my 4 standout players. The first one is going to be the scrum half, Nathaniel Cadiz. His technique is outstanding. You're watching, and he's making all these great structural plays. You see how when he's coming up to rucks. His foot placement is great. His hand placement is great. He's doing all basics right. And you're seeing it so clean passing coming out. He's making good options. He's making good read. And especially again, he didn't get to come off the bench against Barbados, and he is hungry for it, and he's going to be putting so much pressure on Bonus. So congratulations, Nathaniel Cadiz, you're definitely up there. The second person would be Jareem George. Jareem played at fullback, and he recently transitioned from Rainbow to Northerns. And one of the things that he highlighted is, Rainbow teaches an amazing skill set as well of what I was talking about, challenging your defender, putting him in awkward situations, going for it. But he also wanted to get more comfortable with the structural patterns. And he wanted to say, well, I got great coaching here, and now I want to get a different style of coaching. And he's come across to Northerns. And you're seeing it as well, some of the decision-making he's making. All these people, when he was getting kicks to him and he was collecting, and there are 4 guys coming up in pressure, putting them in awkward decisions, forcing one to make a decision, come out a line, and all these other people are just happy to come up. Oh, I have my spot, I have my spot. You break that first line, and then it's not no money ball out the back or some kickback. He was just taking it straight, being aggressive. If it wasn't 100% on, he was holding it or getting his hands free eventually and putting away people for try. He really, really stepped up and marked why so many people think he is a big thing coming up of rugby. To be critical with one area, Jareem, it has to be, again, with rugby, it all starts from the top, where you're winning the ball with scrums or lineouts. You require, the locks to do all their job. The 8-man has to control it. The flankers have to control it. You need the scrum half to be functioning. You need the fly half to be functioning. You need the first. It has to be where you need all this to work right for it to come to you. And it can't be that you need the ball all the time, or there's a mistake and you're getting upset, or you're throwing your hands up and things. You have to be a positive beacon. You're getting to age now where you need to be a leader on the field, and a big part of the leader is to just be this encouraging force. Do not, you want quality over quantity. The amount of times you touch the ball, let the forwards give those first centers and thing, give them all the support to say go for it. If you said you just go, you don't need to throw this money ball, but they are so desperate to get it in your hands. A lot of times it's just like drift, get it out, and that ends up being defenders just luckily being able to slide across. So we gotta start encouraging, you go, you have it, and just positive energy. Somebody makes a mistake, no problem, give them that clap, because you're playing a high quality. But some people misconstrue sometimes your swagger for like a negativity, as a negative attitude, and that is not you. So don't let them think that, please, because you're too good a player to miss out. The third player I'm going to identify is going to be Jonathan Taylor, who put on a clinic. A few months ago, when I was doing the sevens, I was really saying, defensively, he's making these mistakes, he's coming up, he's going high, and now he has the confidence with his tackling and everything, where he's going as outside centre and he's putting on clinics. He's just so dangerous. He's backing himself. Same thing I was talking about. He's trusting his skill set. He's backing himself, and he's just going for it. And if it's not on, he could lower his head and just take the tackle. You make 5 yards, just taking it up. Phenomenal work. And a lot of times his outside centre just could not hold him. He was calling for that missed ball out wide, and it was amazing. Even what I think is a great thing in his skill set as well, he could be at full sprint and could put a kick, and it is a good option kick. It's not some just random hack up the field. It is well positioned, and that is a skill that is learned from practice. And his high balls as well. It's just really coming together. So excellent. I know he won man of the match, but for me, my man of the match has to go to, and it's going to be the captain, Giddis. Besides excellent decision making, where in the second half, when their scrums were just firing and they were getting penalties, he was making the right calls. He was recalling. He said in a proper game, if it wasn't a friendly, they would have been getting cards. He was able to slow it down. How he adjusts from the back as 8-man, where recognizing defensively when he's switching his mind, or offensively when he wants to set it up for his scrum half, or if he wants to do a pick and go. 1 or 2 times his pass, it didn't come off, but when it did, he was steady. He scored some great tries. His work around the park was phenomenal. This guy is a big thing. Again, another massive player who's knocking on the national team door. Extraordinarily exciting. So congratulations to those 4 players. Those are my 4 outstanding, but I don't want to undercut some of the other players. I was even thinking, the 2 props that came on, the props that started actually had really good games as well, but the 2 props that came on, Wendell and another big man, I believe he's from Caribs, can't remember his name off the top of my head, so I apologize for that. They were dominating the scrum. Now I would highlight though, technique wise, when you watch, they were not actually getting low where they were dropping their hips and pushing through. They were relying a lot on their weight. And we want to do things where we're just talking about the lineouts as well. We want to start correcting technique issues. So like how KD's has a beautiful technique, so it could only lift as he's getting older and as he's getting more experience. If you lock yourself into poor technique and you depend on that, you say, well, I just have weight, so I'm almost just going to lean. It was almost like a L. There was no bend, there was no drop. Our locks at times, they're arched backs, their head placement and their hips are getting in bad position. We're going to limit ourselves, and all we need to do is correct these little things. But you can't teach heart, you can't teach passion, you can't teach work rate, and these guys have it in spades. It is absolutely phenomenal. So we just need to just correct a few little minor things, and you go from great to phenomenal. And we're going to get there. We're going to have these symposiums. We're going to continue to work. So congratulations to all you guys. Alex as well for Northerns who came on. What a nice option to have as hooker. Some excellent people who want the hand on the ball, want contact in the right areas, are able to set it up, able to rock. Everything else falls into place. You have to be making contact. You have to be willing to take contact. And you have to control your body. And that's actually last reference with talking about that. You have somebody like Giddis who's taken up, and he's a naturally gifted person. Look at Ballington, who was one of my man of the matches for the Barbados game. He's not a massive person, but when he's going into contact, and even if he is caught where somebody gets in lower than him, he doesn't just say, oh, I got bad technique on this play, I guess I'm going to get pushed back. He is fighting to get back in the right spot, getting low, throwing. He is getting in the right positions. You have to work, and it is a tough contact physical sport, and people have to start being responsible. So if you bring down somebody from the line out, oh gosh, they got lower than me, I guess I'm just up. Work, get on crazy. Of course, all legal, but get crazy, get nasty. So that is it really for this episode. Again, I want you all to take a look for yourselves, see the players that stood out for you. I'm hoping, again, we're just pushing out footage. The right pair of eyes will see it when the time is right. So get out there, guys. We're going to have a phenomenal season. Thank you for all the support. Keep it up there and keep messaging. And if you see something, do a video, send it to me and put it out there. Thanks for all the support. Looking forward to seeing you all out there. This is going to be a phenomenal 2023. Bye.